Lindsey, what's in your lens today?
Lots to discuss. So there's a sad irony in watching the federal government come to a grinding halt, not because of some unresolvable crisis, but because politics turned into a circus. So earlier this month, a shutdown wasn't inevitable. But President Donald Trump practically locked the door and threw away the key earlier this week on Monday night when he shared an AI deepfake video mocking his main negotiating partners, Democratic House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. In the deepfake video Trump shared, Schumer sneers that, quote, nobody likes Democrats anymore because of, quote, all of our woke trans bleep, before falsely claiming Democrats want to give undocumented immigrants health care because the party needs, quote, new voters. Meanwhile, a silent Jeffries stands there in a sombrero and a handlebar mustache. Now, it's safe to say the video appears to be a reference to the misleading GOP claim that Democrats were threatening to shut down the government unless an agreement can be reached to fund health care for all undocumented people. But here's the truth. Undocumented immigrants are not eligible for most federally backed health care. Democrats aren't fighting for that. They're pushing to preserve Affordable Care Act subsidies that are about to expire, benefits that only apply to citizens and, quote, lawfully present immigrants. Republicans have been falsely spinning this into a debate about free health care for the undocumented. Jeffries clapped back on X with a statement that read, quote, bigotry will get you nowhere. Cancel the cuts, lower the costs, save health care. We are not backing down. Later, he turned the tables with a photo of Trump alongside Jeffrey Epstein and captioned simply, this is real. Schumer, never one to mince words, fired his own shot at the president, saying, quote, if you think your shutdown is a joke, it just proves what we know. You can't negotiate, you can only throw tantrums. The bitter stalemate over billions in ACA subsidies has now led to the first government funding lapse of Trump's second administration. And like every shutdown, it's really a game of chicken to see who blinks first and who takes the blame. Now, normally the side demanding concessions shoulders all the backlash, but this time, Republicans may be boxed in. A Strength in Numbers Verisight poll found that 34% of Americans would blame Republicans in Congress for a shutdown, compared to 23% who would blame Democrats. Another would blame 34% both sides equally. And even if the shutdown happened because Democrats refused to vote for a GOP bill that excluded restoring health care funding, the numbers barely shifted, 35% pointing the finger at Republicans, while only 24% blamed Democrats. That's because health care is a political landmine for Trump. His administration's Medicaid cuts are deeply unpopular, and voters haven't forgotten. So while the shutdown may be Trump's attempt at leverage, it's already backfiring. Because at the end of the day, Americans don't see this as a battle over immigration. They see it as another excuse for politicians to play games with their health care. And when the lights go out in Washington, it's not the politicians who suffer. It's the people who sent them there. Trump thought he could score political points with the deepfake, but in the end, the only thing fake here is the idea that voters will forget who pushed us into this mess.
Well, both parties are responsible for pushing us into this mess. I think it's a terrible system that every 6 months we have to have this last-minute race to reauthorize the same hideous amount of extravagant government funding that currently exists, that Republicans make only a half-hearted effort to keep in check. Now, they are trying to keep it in check here in terms of these healthcare subsidies that have disguised the true cost and true pain of the Obamacare program, which is unpopular. And, Democrats want to, continue having unchecked or unlimited subsidization or funding.
I mean, that argument can go any way because well, that's untrue. And also, I think with the big, beautiful bill, that their whole argument is moot because of how much they raised the deficit with that. So it's like they're not actually fiscal conservatives. And we understand that from how this year went, right? So we talked about how we agree with Congress and their lack of action. And so some of the things that they're saying don't match. And, people who would back me up would be Senator Josh Hawley. I know you don't love him, but he is a Republican. And he's like, look, we can't cut Rhino, Tino, whatever you want to call him, Taco. He still said that we cannot cut Medicaid for this many people without having pushback. And so here we are. It's not, even if you think this was a strategy, like we talk about all the time, most times it falls on the party that is trying to hold everything up to get something usually erroneous or obnoxious in there. But because the big, beautiful bill just passed and it's the same people that perhaps may be affected by losing access to medical care, and they're trying to extend subsidies when we were able to extend tax cuts for folks and cut Medicaid and medical access for thousands, I think that is a valid point. And I don't think Chuck Schumer could go back to his constituents, or anybody for that matter, as a Democrat, and say, okay, not only did we lose the election, we have no game plan, and we're also going to let healthcare go, our most winning issue. They have to stand on business right now, and I don't think that it's a good idea to shut the government down. I actually think it's a failure for everyone to
Tell
lead.
that to the Democrats.
But I think it's a problem that when they sent the president a proposal, instead of meeting earlier this month when it was like 30 days away, he said, oh, that proposal was trash. I'm not even meeting. You're not serious. That's a terrible tact for the great negotiator. I thought he was the best negotiator in the world. He's sitting there negotiating with Putin, right? So why can't he negotiate with the Democrats? It's not that serious. He should be able to call them to the table. Why are you making that face? And have a conversation about their proposals. Some of his proposals are obnoxious, even to his own friend Elon Musk. And guess what? They've proved they can be friends again at Charlie Kirk's memorial. So he should figure out how to talk to Democrats, right? It's not that hard. You are the president of the United States. That's your job.
And the Democrats will cave and will end the shutdown.
Or the Republicans will agree that health care and the Affordable Care Act subsidies were an essential part of the fabric of our country ever since Obama put them in, and they've been very helpful, and they will move forward in the way the Democrats want to proceed and allow them to have one winning issue in these 9 months, since they have dropped the ball on all the winning issues that they have, including immigration, including the economy. And then
immigration is a winning issue for Democrats?
No, health care is a winning issue, so let them have this one. And I'm saying Republicans will continue to drop the ball on the winning issues they have, which is immigration, continuing to go into local cities when they're unwanted, and the economy, continuing that people are broke. And so let Republicans just shoot themselves in the foot over this, but Democrats can move forward with
most people agree
put ACA subsidies
that
in place.
The government is poorly running our healthcare system, and that we don't want healthcare benefits to go to illegal immigrants and paying for transgender surgeries or whatever other things the Republicans are going to talk about. That's popular. I'm sorry that Democrats don't understand.
Yeah, the subsidies
real
being
American
extended are for lawful migrants,
and
meaning people have full paperwork and they work here under the law. That's literally what the subsidies that they're trying to extend. So this whole argument is just phony baloney. That's what I'm trying to tell people. Like, they're trying to conflate every single thing. Like, the argument for the big beautiful bill was the undocumented migrants.
I'm not for the big beautiful
No, I'm saying that's
against it.
No, the argument for people in there about why they were cutting health care and whom they were cutting health care for was migrants. And take that argument. But for the ACA subsidies is a totally different thing
than any other nation on earth. So it's not a lack of it's not a lack of money being spent on it. Something else has gone wrong. We've talked about it a little bit with the drug prices earlier. Something else is wrong. It's not lack of money. If it was just the more money you spent, the better your healthcare services and coverage would be. We'd be set for life, baby, because we spend a lot.
So diagnose us
not
then.
The money.
What's the problem?
I don't know. Smarter people than me are going to have to figure it out. But it's not the lack of money. I suspect the disguising of the prices by having an insurance and subsidization system whereby the people the actual healthcare providers, doctors, hospitals, drug companies, the people providing the medical service, can upcharge us because we don't pay for it directly. They're basically upcharging the federal government because the federal government is covering it, and then we're paying just a fee or a copay or paying for our health insurance.
Right.
And that process disguises the true price and allows Pfizer and hospitals and doctors.
Well, this is when
that's the reform that is
and this
needed.
is when government works best. If Trump can take his Pfizer plan and connect with Democrats who've made health care and Obamacare their entire being for the most part, and work together to figure out what a realistic solution that appeases both parties are. This was great. No, I'm saying if they can just come together and figure out how more people can be covered as opposed to going to the hospital with no health insurance and never paying that bill.
Obamacare exacerbated that.
But if they can work together, address that statement. If they can work together, wouldn't we be better off? You hate that it's not working. I hate that it's not working. If they can work together, perhaps we can come up with a solution.
Well, perhaps. I mean, they could work together to make the system worse. I mean, it's not them working together is no guarantee things will.
But them not working together also hasn't worked for decades. So we're at a standstill.
Coming up, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is laying out changes that he says will make the U.S. militarily stronger. But liberals say it will do just the opposite. Stay with us.